Good morning, everyone. It's good to see all of you. Thank you for coming today. I recognize your faces, your eyes. So please join me in Gassho for a reading from Essentials of Faith Alone by Seikaku Shonin. With pledges of friendship in this life, brief as a dream, to guide us, we tie the bonds for meeting before enlightenment in the coming life. If I am behind, I will be guided by others. If I go first, I will guide others. Becoming true friends through many lives, we bring each other to the practice of the Buddha way. And as true teachers in each life, we will together sunder all delusions and attachment. Namo Amida Butsu. 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 Last year, I talked about the Butsudan and how taking care of my Butsudan and offering thanks to Amida Buddha helped me cope during the stressful COVID lockdown days. Now, over 1 year later, the COVID restrictions have been loosened, and my focus on our Butsudan today is about how our Seattle Butsudan Butsudan adoption program is going, and why I think the program is helping in carrying out the Jodo Shinshu faith. Just to let you know, the Butsudan are home altars. They are miniatures of what you see here in the shrine or altar area, our Naijin. I believe that our Butsudan, our home altars, can be the bond that ties our Shinshu generations together. It is the link that brings each other to the practice of the Buddha way. My talk might sound like an advertisement for promoting our Butsudan adoption program. I am trying to promote the program, and it gives me encouragement that Jodo Shinshu is being passed on. Last year, I referred to a 2003 Seattle Times article in which one of our Butsudan adopters said, his new home altar gave him solace and meaning to his life, especially after stressful days at work, and I shared how serving my Butsudan helped me cope during the COVID lockdown. It is through acknowledging Amida's example of infinite wisdom and boundless compassion that the Butsudan works for me, and I think it works for others. This year, our Butsudan adoption program gives me encouragement for the growth of our Shinshu or Jodo Shinshu Buddhist tradition. 3 particular recent incidents give me that hope. A funeral service that used the family's Butsudan, an adoption by a couple new to our meditation group, and coming across Reverend Ruth Tabra's book and reading about her first Butsudan. The first, a funeral memorial service I conducted in June. The family asked to use their home altar as the center of reverence for the service of their past father, which would be conducted at a funeral home. The daughter brought their Butsudan, its implements, manju cakes, oranges, and flower offerings. It obviously brought their family great joy. The Butsudan was shiny, as if cleaned regularly. It was wrapped up lovingly for safe transport. It was obvious to me that she and her family treated their Butsudan with great care. I was happy that the attendees could view their Butsudan. The quite traditional Butsudan was beautiful in the modern decor of the funeral home's spacious chapel. The second also happened in June after a Sunday meditation session. I announced that our Butsudan collection had been moved to the basement of the meditation house on the previous Saturday. The couple, new to our meditation group, asked to see our collection. After meditation, we immediately went down to the basement and freely viewed all the Butsudan available in one place. After a careful look, they chose one and took it home that morning. Later, they emailed me a photo of their altar at home, beautifully set up, and they wrote, "It brings us great joy." And the third event happened last week. I was sorting through my accumulation of stuff, notes, paperwork, documents, and books, trying to organize them. And as is often the case, my efforts were thwarted when I came across a couple of borrowed books that I was meant to read and return years ago. The one that grabbed my attention was entitled "Just Live on Becoming Buddhist" by Ruth M. Tabra, a convert to Jodo Shinshu Buddhism. Ruth Tabra, and she pronounced it Tabra, not Tabra, became a Jodo Shinshu minister in Hawaii. Her first calling was as a writer. She was successful, quite accomplished, and published many books. She was asked to write about Jodo Shinshu, and that was the beginning of her becoming Buddhist. I was particularly struck by her essay on My First Butsudan. I was interested because members of our maintenance group recently consolidated and moved nearly 40 adoptable Butsudan to a more accessible location in our adjacent building, presently known as our meditation tea house. I am encouraged by the move, and I want to find them a new Jodo Shinshu home. Reverend Tabra's story of adopting an Butsudan began after she moved into a new home on the Big Island of Hawaii. She looked for something serene to fill a corner designed to be her writing space. A friend suggested a Jodo Shinshu home altar. She liked the idea and was swayed to find a modern type altar instead of the house kind, which was deemed old-fashioned by another friend. So when Reverend Toyoura brought her a traditional, old, house kind, she was rather disappointed. But she accepted it gratefully and writes, "One evening, the Butsudan had become a powerful and living part of my house. Gradually, she began her own practice before her altar, chanting what she knew, the threefold refuges, ringing the bell, bowing, saying Nembutsu, putting her hands together in Gassho." She continues to write, "The house and my whole being felt serene, fulfilled in a way words cannot express. Now, each morning, I do not feel I have begun the day until I have spent a few moments in Gassho there. There is something of meaning in my house and myself that was not there before. I totally abandoned my idea of a new kind of Butsudan, as this one had become part of me. And I was pleased when Reverend Toyoura told me it had belonged to an elderly couple who would be so happy to have the life of their Butsudan carried on in our Namo Amida Butsu." So that was in Reverend Ruth's book. I am happy that the couple donated their Obutsudan, and happy that their Obutsudan has helped nurture Reverend Tabra, who became a much-loved teacher of Jodo Shinshu. And she writes so beautifully about Jodo Shinshu. These were the stories that moved me to talk about our Obutsudan adoption program. To update you on a few other adoptions, my grandmother's Obutsudan is being cherished by her great-granddaughter. She asked me how to arrange its accessories properly, and she danced in Portland's Bon Odori this year, perhaps in memory of her great-aunt and great-uncle. New Buddhists and new Jodo Shinshuists are adopting Obutsudan. 3 from Spokane Buddhist temple. One son adopted his first, and then his mother adopted one, and another member also adopted one from here. I had an inquiry from Kentucky this spring, and we corresponded. I sent him some pictures of Obutsudan. In the end, he had opted to order one from Japan, but he did acquire an Obutsudan. And the office had an inquiry for someone who could give an estimate on a repair for the damage done in shipping to her grandmother's altar that she had shipped from Hawaii. One of our temple members answered her inquiry. I don't know how that ended, but it showed the length a grandchild will go to keep the family altar in her family. This shows me how much family altars are being cherished. I said my talk might sound like an advertisement for our Obutsudan adoption program, but I would also like it to be a public service announcement, an announcement that can benefit you and others if you embrace it. Our inventory is steady because of new arrivals. Our Obutsudan are not exactly flying off the shelves. But perhaps you can help our Obutsudan find happy Jodo Shinshu homes and allow Obutsudan to make more serene, happy, meaningful homes through its focal of Amida Buddha and the Nembutsu. And perhaps the stories of Ruth Tabra and her Obutsudan, the family Obutsudan used at the funeral service, and the adoption by an Obutsudan by a newcomer will inspire you to embrace the Obutsudan. To conclude my advertisement, Rinban Kusunoki and I are planning to have many of our adoptable Obutsudan on display at SBWA's Ba-chan's Closet on October 1st from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Please come and take a look at some of our Obutsudan. To close my talk, please join me in Gassho for the reading. With pledges of friendship in this life, brief as a dream, to guide us, we tie the bonds for meeting before enlightenment in the coming life. If I am behind, I will be guided by others. If I go first, I will guide others. Becoming true friends through many lives, we bring each other to the practice of the Buddha way. And as true teacher, in each life, we will together sunder all delusion and attachment. Namo Amida Butsu. 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 Thank you for listening.